Do you think there's such thing as sacrificing for your goals?
Oh, of course. But I think that you definitely have to sacrifice. But I also think that the word sacrifice has so much like weight to it. Like it's such a heavy word that has so much meaning. I feel like they're just choices. Like everyone makes choices. Every single thing you do in your day, you're making a choice. Like you decide to wake up on time, that's a choice. You decide to go to practice, that's a choice. When you're at practice, you decide to put your all into it as opposed to like half-assing it. That is a choice. And then when it comes to other things like, oh, I could like eat out tonight, or I have food at home and I could save money and feel a lot more fueled and more recovered tomorrow instead of going out, even though that'd be easier. That's a choice. Like all of these things to me are just like, they're just choices. And I think you just, I don't know, to me, I look at it as like, what do I value more? Like making a slightly difficult choice now, or knowing that, or like maybe like not reaching my goals and just feeling regretful. Like I want to know that if knock on wood, if I don't reach a goal, it's not because I didn't put 100 million% of myself into reaching that goal every step of the way. Like if something happens, again, knock on wood, if something happens, sometimes it just doesn't work out, and that's life, that happens. But the sacrifices, the choices we make are what guide us on our path towards the goals that we set for ourselves. And I don't know, I think there are some really big choices that I think turn into sacrifices. Yeah, I feel like the bigger choices to me are the sacrifices, whereas the smaller ones day in, day out don't really feel like a sacrifice. They just are.
What are the bigger choices? Like, what's an example?
A bigger sacrifice. I mean, now that you put me on the spot, I'm trying to think of like, um, oh, I almost feel like I have to come back to that. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but when I think of like a sacrifice to me has to be something big. Like to me, it was like I missed one of my best friend's weddings. That was a sacrifice that I had to make because I knew I had to train. And it was also a destination wedding. It looked beautiful. I wish I could have been there, but I didn't get to go. And that was heartbreaking for me. And I definitely know she was sad about it, even though she totally understood why. It's still something that I was sad about. And I will also be, I mean, not that I was going to like potentially necessarily be there like on the day, but she's due to give birth like in a matter of like a week or two. And I will not be meeting that child, and I won't be seeing her for like another like 2 months afterwards. And I think those are the things where it's like they're choices that you make, but they turn into sacrifices because you realize that there's a lot that you are missing out on in like other people's lives that blend so much into yours. Like these are people I love and care about. I think that's when it turns into sacrifices, is when it involves like other people I love and care about. But everything else concerning just me is just a choice.
What makes it worth it?
I mean, it sounds so simple, but just like it's just, I think when you finally have that moment of whatever goal it is that you have for self, when you achieve it, and there's just like I don't know if you like celebrate a lot. Do you celebrate? No, and no, nor
Nor.
nor. But like I think it's realizing, like for me, and I'm going to assume also for you, in those like quiet moments after you've finally accomplished something that has taken up so much of your life and your mind and your energy for so long, and it's like you fucking did it, like you fucking did that thing. And for me, like for example, last summer, One Worlds, got to hang out with my mom and our family friend and a bunch of like like Anna and Mo and another couple throwers as well. I think it was Elena and another American hammer thrower, Alex Young, were there. And we were like eating donaires at like 2 a.m. after the competition because I didn't get out of drug testing for like an hour. And I finally got back to the hotel. And quick tangent, quick side story, our team manager, who was amazing, saw that I was eating these like cakes in the hotel. And for anyone who is unaware, I have like a shit ton of allergies and food sensitivities. And these cakes, they were like chocolate coconut. They were the most delicious thing I've ever had in my entire life. And I was like, I need to be able to take these up to my room and eat them like after the competition. Like I need to be able to eat a platter of these once I'm done competing. And she was like, you like them that much? I was like, yeah, and they're nut free, which is the best part. I can actually eat them and not die. And so she went to the kitchen and asked one of the lovely people working in the kitchen if they had like a little to-go box. And she came back and she was like, okay, now you have to go in. I was like, okay. And so I shoved like 6 of those cakes in there and took them up to my room and like threw them in the fridge. I was like, okay, that's for after I'm done. So after I had gotten back from like having that super late dinner with my family and with Mo, and like celebrating and everything, I got back to my room. I like sat on my bed. I couldn't sleep. Sleep was not going to be happening that night. But I took out the container of those cakes and just like sat on the edge of my bed and like just like ate a cake, like a piece of cake. And I was like, I fucking did that thing. And it's like that moment where you realize that you have actually accomplished the goal that you set for yourself, regardless of how long ago it was that you set it. Like you have done everything that it took to do what you always believed you were capable of. And I think that for me is the moment that makes it so worth it. Is that moment where I get to like sit on the edge of my hotel room bed and eat a chocolate coconut cake and just know that I earned it because I did exactly what I hoped I could do and that I knew I could do.
I think celebrations are better alone, if that makes sense. And it's weird because they say success is pointless if you don't have anybody to share it with. But at the same time, the people you want to share it with weren't there with you along the way. So for me, right after like the marathon, my biggest celebration was the next day sitting down for an hour and just writing. And no, but well, I mean, people saw what I wrote at this point. Not that many though, just because like I turned it into an episode and posted it. But that hour of just me writing to myself and being like, whoa, you did that. That's pretty cool. All right, I don't care about it anymore. Like next, like immediately,
next.
immediately done next. Like, but that was it. It wasn't the meal we had after. It wasn't people saying congrats. It wasn't people saying, oh my gosh, that's impressive. Like that means nothing to me. Not like it means nothing in terms of the work. Yes, thank you for being nice. Appreciate that. Appreciate support, whatever. Awesome. But in terms of like, wow, that's external validation that I need to continue doing the thing. Like, no. The only reason I even posted, and it's something I was telling you off the record, like before this, is the only reason I'm posting those stories is because I know it helped me a couple months ago, and I'm just hoping it'll help other people, which is fascinating, actually. Like, I think my biggest flex right now is that I've gotten messages from people saying like, oh, thank you, or asking questions on like how to start running from people that are 3 years older than me and 9 years younger than me. So
You're
it's
so
like a
cool,
12-year
Fernando.
gap. It's a 12-year gap, and it's just from a stupid Instagram story, which makes it not stupid, right? But that 12-year gap is like so incredible. And you're doing that just from an Instagram story. So, okay, yeah, that makes it worth it. But to me, it's like the celebration is mostly taking that time, like you were saying, edge of the bed, eating a little cake. That's where it lies, because only you know what you went through. Realistically, like potentially Mo.
I was gonna I was gonna say also because I never shut up to him, so he knows everything about my life. But yes, but yes, like you're the one doing it. And I think that's something that he said before as well. Like there's only so much you can do as a coach. And when you get into like when your athlete enters a competition, when they're in competition mode, like you just have to hope that they were able to do everything that you taught them to do, because now they're just doing it on your own. And I think it's so funny that he says too that his role when I'm competing is to be less of a coach and more of just like a supporter and more of like a just someone to basically be there and be like, "You're doing great, sweetie." Like, but like by the time you are in there doing the damn thing, like if you like for us at least with between Mo and I, he says like if I have to coach you when like actually coach you when you're in a competition, like it's over. Like you should have been like doing these things days, weeks, months beforehand to prepare. Because it just means that either something happened and something went wrong that we can't fix or change now, or you just weren't prepared. And so I think that's, yeah, I think it's funny because you can see the moment where it hits him too once the competition's over and like run over. We have so many pictures of us hugging each other, and he like he's cried. And it's so beautiful to like know that like we've been able to do this together. But it's definitely something that he always says is like, I'm not the one who's going to be in there throwing the hammer for you. He's like, you wouldn't want me to.
It's also that all results are a lagging indicator of decisions and actions taken much longer, like before all of that moment. So
the choices and sacrifices, you could say.
Exactly. So it's like you already worked for the trophy, for the medal, for the podium, all of these months and years leading up to it. The time of the competition, you're just there to pick up the medal or the trophy, whatever it may be. Like it's that type of mentality of like once you're there, you just have to like it's what 3 more throws that you get from all the thousands of throws that you've done, or 6 throws maybe. But yeah, my bad. But
I just love that you know about throwing.
Of course,
it makes my heart so happy.
But like let's look at it that way. How many throws have you done from Tokyo to Paris? And then you show up to Paris and you're potentially maximum gonna throw 12?
Maximum 2 warm-up throws, 3 in a qualification round to get to the final. And then when you're in the final, it's 2 warm-ups and 3 qualifications to be in the top 8, and then another 3. So you're taking max 8 throws. Thousands upon thousands upon thousands of throws, both in practice and in competition, to lead to 8.
So that's my point. Like
it's like similar to how everyone says like you do like, or like I guess easier I guess to comprehend with the 100. Like you train and you train and you train all for like not like 10 seconds.
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to get at with you already won leading up to it. You're just there to pick up the prize by the time you show up, which sounds like a terrible thing to say, but I don't think so. I really don't think so. Like you can't just show up there and then do the work the day of is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Like the work has been done. You're just there to show it off that day. If you really think about it.
That's when you get to like have fun.
Exactly.
And do your thing.
You get to show it off to everybody else that wasn't there at Edwards or wasn't there in this other field that isn't Edwards in Berkeley.
Shout out Edwards Stadium.
Yeah,
shout out
Edwards.
Richmond Field Station.
Nobody else was there for the past 3 years. But in 2 days in August, on a random day in August in Paris, it all pays off. And